Alrighty guys, we are back with part 3 of the beginner's Wukong guide. The last part ended with Shen, who just died by my hand, sneaking in, teleporting in on Annie, saving her from dying from my ignite. Hopefully by this part 3 you have already watched the first two. If you haven't, I will link the first one in the description. This is once again a beginner's guide from a beginner's point of view. I am an extreme beginner, but at the time of this audio recording, they actually just put out the new update for the bots. So I suggest you go to their website and check it out. That is leagueoflegends.com if you did not know right off the top of your head. So hopefully by part 3, you are understanding the main, sequence of events whenever you are dealing with bots, at least in custom game, at the most in co-op versus AI. So as you saw me do, what I did was what I call like having them burn their cooldowns, which basically means waste their skills and having to wait for a cooldown when it would have been completely necessary not to use a skill to begin with. I often do that with Wukong. You'll see me do my decoy right at the time that they walk up to me, so they all burn all their skills on me. I have had 3 different bots use their ultimate on my decoy before, so it is quite possible for it to happen in that way. So as you see now, I'm just continually leveling up my order. Decoy is going to be the last thing, just as a reminder. I'm going to do a little harassment here and continue to poke. Try not to take too much damage while I do offer out a good amount of damage. So I am going to slowly walk back a little bit. As you can see, Nasus is on his way back up once again. So I'm just going to try to hold off Annie and not let her progress too much further than where she is. As you'll see me doing throughout these videos, I constantly am clicking with my mouse, clicking the skills and then using them. For a beginner, this is okay to do. I highly recommend against it. Pretty much after the time that this game was recorded, I started working on using the hotkeys, which is where, of course, your right hand is doing the point and click. On the mouse, just a quick interruption, I'm just working straight down the recommended items list, and I make sure to also have a Phoenix bun on and highlight the next item, which I have repeated that many times before. But with regard to clicking and utilizing your abilities, for very beginners, it's okay to use the click method, but considering your left hand is not doing much at all, well, there are some cases where your left hand might be a little busy while you're in the middle of playing, but this is a PG-13 commentary, so I'm not going to get into that. If you do happen to have your left hand free, which is quite possible, then I suggest you move your left hand and you rest it with your pointer finger on your E, your middle finger on your W, and your ring finger of your left hand on top of your Q. Now those are going to be your 3 main that you use. I understand you can also use your summoner spells at D and F, which is very easy for your thumb to hit or for your pointer finger to drop down to, and the ultimate is also very easy for your pointer finger to slide over to. So as you may start off by finishing the tutorial with clicking, you may want to get started on trying to get your hotkeys down. It is different, trust me, but it's so much easier and much more cost effective and much more cost productive by the time you're able to, use a good combo sequence of the hotkeys instead of having to click down every time. Because what you really want is you want your mouse to be able to be moving you around while you're still messing around with your abilities. You don't want to have to click somewhere, use all your abilities, and then click again prior to getting to your first spot. As you see here, I am getting pushed back, but I do notice the minion wave and Nasus is on their way back up. So I'm going to do a full combo, try to do as much damage as I can, and hopefully, as you just see there, I killed Malphite. And I'm going to exhaust Annie and try to get up ahead of her, because that will cause her to kind of stutter and move back and forth. I really want the double kill here, so I'm going to do my best to finish her off before she gets in range of the turret, and I did, so I did earn a double kill there. Now I'm just going to farm the minions just as I have been. Now, like I mentioned before, this isn't champion specific, because you do want to maintain the same idea with regard to any of the champions, especially with regard to the melee ones, because that's just the smartest thing to do. but you don't have to do this exact same thing when it comes down to it. So as you see here, I have just leveled up, so I'm going to continue my leveling sequence, and now that I have a full wave of minions with me and my lane champion, I'm going to take on this tower and finish it off before Malphite can come in and intercept. So he is hitting the crap out of me right now, but that's quite alright. I was able to get away by means of a shadow clone. Here I'm low on mana and life, but I do want to stay in just for as long as I possibly can. But I'm kind of thinking that it might be best to go back, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So as you see, when you're recalling along those kinds of lines, I will still usually just click the recall button instead of pressing B on the keyboard, but that's perfectly fine. You can do that. So I'm going to spend as much money and get up to the phage, which is the next recommended item. I will highlight the last whisper and then highlight this one in green, and that will be the next item that I purchase once I come back here with a full load of gold again. Buy a Phoenix Bun like I normally do, and we are going to go back up to the front line. Nasus seems to be retreating as fast as possible because he will most likely want to return after he gets back behind this tower, which, let's see, he is recalling, which is fine because now, okay, he decided against it. I guess he's just going to follow the minion wave because he feels like it. So I'm continuing to come up behind him so I can try to support him because he's about to get 2-on-1'd right up there. But now actually let me take this time, because the fact that Nasus has pushed him all the way up there, let me take this time to show you a little bit of Wukong's jungling. As you see, here is the blue power-up, which before you go ahead and mess with any of the blue power-ups, which are the ones with the stones, or the red one, you usually want to go and kill either the wolves or the wraiths. So I'm going to do an easy combo to finish off all three of these. After I finish them off, which is the first step of jungling, then I'm going to run up and finish off the blue buff. So I always will first Nimbus Strike in, and then I will do a Crushing Blow, and then use my Shadow Clone or my Decoy. And I'll just really keep cycling through these as they come apparent once again, over and over again. Crushing Blow is really good to use as quick as possible, not only because of the extra damage it gives, but also simply because it reduces their defenses for a short period of time afterwards. So as you see, I'm going to try to do a gank on Sivir, which is just like a jump, like surprise ambush attack. Now this would have been a lot easier if I didn't have to click for my hotkeys, but unfortunately I had not gotten to the point where I was using my hotkeys. I was just using the mouse click. So I'm going to try to chase her down and try to finish her off, but I just now noticed that Shen is about to teleport on her, so I'm going to run away. As I'm running, I'm going to Shadow Clone, and the tower almost finished me off, but Shen burned all of his cooldowns and the last tower shot went on my Shadow Clone instead. So I'm going to get far enough away from them that they won't happen to come by me. And then I will most likely want to recall back. But because I do have a Phoenix Bun, I think I'm going to use that instead. That way I just get a little bit of extra health and I can try to push Annie back before she gets pushed back too far by Nasus, because I am going to go in for the kill here. So I do the Nimbus Strike up, then the Crushing Blow, and then I'm going to Shadow Clone just so she doesn't think I'm right behind her when I actually am. And I team killed with Nasus. We went up against and killed Annie. Spend my skill point considering I just got another level in, and as you notice, my health regeneration is slowly and surely increasing. It's at a good point now for me to continue my fight, at least to try to get more experience and gold up against these little minions, because you want to farm them as much as possible, especially when you have a bot in your party with you and you're not doing co-op versus AI. So I hope you guys enjoyed part 3. I'm going to be ending this one. As you see me getting intercepted by Malphite, please remember to rate, even if this isn't your absolute most favorite video in the whole wide world. Ratings do help. Also, if you have not seen my previous 2 videos of my beginner guide for Wukong, make sure to check those out. The first one will be in the description. So please remember to rate and leave me a comment of what you think. Take it easy, guys. I appreciate it. One step.